a mystery bag this morning. And in my mystery bag, I have some different objects. So I'm gonna reach in, I'm gonna pull out object number 1. What is this? This is a star. A star is a shape. This is one of my mystery objects. I'm gonna put it up here on the board. Let's see what another one is. What's another one? Ooh, what shape is this? This is a square. We have a square that we're gonna look at. And 2 more mystery objects. Oh, if you were here, I'd pick one of you to come reach in. A circle. A circle is another one of our mystery objects. And one more. A triangle. These, boys and girls, are different shapes that we've talked about in class. We know a square has 4 sides, and they're all equal amounts. We know triangles have 3 sides. So these are different shapes that we've talked about and identified in different pictures we've seen. Today, we are going to be looking at some different shapes, but instead of just recognizing what it is and counting the sides, we are going to figure out what the distance is around the shape. So here's what I mean. We're going to be measuring today using our rulers to find the distance around our shape. So I'm going to move these guys down here for right now. These are some shapes we've looked at previously. You see up here on our board, I've drawn some shapes. I've drawn one really big square. I've drawn one little square. And I've drawn a medium-sized triangle for us. Now, my question to you, my challenge for math today is, what is the distance around the outside of our shape? And I have a new vocabulary word for you. This is a big word, but what it means, the distance around the outside of our shape is called the perimeter. Can you say perimeter? Perimeter. Perimeter. That means the distance around the outside. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my ruler and watch carefully what I'm going to do. I'm going to measure each line from point to corner around my triangle first. And I'm going to measure using inches. I wrote IN at the top. That means we're going to use inches. So I'm going to find the inches side on my ruler, the side with the big numbers, the greater distance, and I'm going to start at 0 and line it up straight. So I'm going to start with my bottom here. I'm going to start at the 0. I'm going to line it up straight. Ooh, I see that the bottom part of my triangle here is 12 inches. So I'm going to write next to that line a 12 and the IN, so it's 12 inches. So that's one of our sides. Then I'm going to measure our other side up here. Our other side going up, let's see, I'm going to measure it point to point. Ooh, that's also 1 foot, which is 12 inches. And then I have one more side to measure. I've measured this side, I've measured this side, and now I'm going to use my ruler and measure my last side. That's also 12 inches. I'm going to write 12 inches. Now my question to you is going to be, how many inches all the way around is my triangle? So I need to make a math problem. So here's my math problem. I'm going to write 12 inches for my bottom. I'm going to write plus 12 inches for my side. And I'm going to write plus 12 more inches for my third side. I have 3 12s that I'm going to be adding together. Now we've done these addition problems in class before. The first thing we need to do is divide it in half. So I'm going to divide it in half. I'm going to add the 1s first and then the 10s. So I know 2 plus 2 is 4, plus 2 more is 6. So I'm going to write 6 down here below, and I'm going to write 1, and I'm going to add the 10th place. 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals 3. So boys and girls, it is 36 inches all the way around my triangle. I added up all the sides. Let's try the next one. Let's look at this guy down here. This is, I want to measure in centimeters now. I switched my measurement. Up here I was measuring in inches. So now I'm going to take my ruler and flip it over to the small side. I'm going to look at my little square here. I'm gonna measure all 4 corners now. Triangle only had 3. We're now gonna measure all 4. So I'm gonna use my centimeter slide. I'm gonna start at 0 and line it up straight. It's 10 centimeters, because we know our centimeters are a lot smaller on the bottom. Let's measure the side. Start at 0, line it up straight. Ooh, it's also 10 centimeters. Let's measure the top. Ooh, also, erase this, okay, 10 centimeters. Now, if this is 10, this is 10, this is 10, what do you think this one's gonna be? It looks the same distance. Let's check to find out. Also 10 centimeters. So up here, we found the distance around the shape, or the perimeter, is 36 inches, all the way around my triangle. And we added all 3 12s together. Now, we're gonna do the same thing, but we're gonna add our 10s together. So I have 1 10, I have another 10, I have another 10, and then lastly, my 4th 10, we're gonna add together. We're gonna do the same kind of addition problem we did here at the top. I'm gonna divide it in half. 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0 equals 0. And 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals 4. I'm gonna write centimeters because I know we're adding in centimeters. 40 centimeters is the distance around our entire square. We're adding the distance of each of the sides together to find the perimeter, the distance around a shape. Now we have our big guy over here. We measured in inches in our triangle. We measured in centimeters in our square. For our big one, we're gonna measure in whole feet. We're gonna count how many feet are on each of our different sides. So let's start. We have 4 different sides, just like we did down here with our square. So I'm gonna use my whole ruler now. Let's measure the top first. I have 1 foot, I have 2 feet, I have 3 feet. 3 whole feet are across the top. So I'm gonna put a big number, 3 feet at the top. That's my first line, my first side. Now I'm gonna measure this side. 1, 2, 3. Also 3 feet. Now we know a square has the same length of sides on all 4 sides. A rectangle is a little different. A rectangle has 2 long sides and 2 short sides. But if I found out that 3 feet is both of these, what do you think my last 2 sides are gonna be if I know a square is always the same? Over here it was all 10. What do you think? You're right, it's also going to be 3. All my sides are the same length, so I don't even need to measure because I know this is our square. And a square has 3 feet around all the sides. So I need to figure out what my perimeter of my giant square is in feet. So I'm gonna add 3 plus 3 plus 3, 1 foot. This is one side, one side, one side, and one side. I need 4 3s for the 4 sides of my square. Now we gotta figure out what our answer is. 3 plus 3 is 6, plus 3 more, 7, 8, 9, plus 3 more, 10, 11, 12. 12 feet is our perimeter going all the way around our square. So today, finding the distance around a shape is called the perimeter. What you can do, boys and girls, is I want you to go around your house. Maybe find some different objects that are either a square or a triangle or maybe a rectangle. And I want you to see if you can measure what the distance around the shape is. For example, you could maybe use some kind of basket. Miss Sam could use this. If I look at my basket here, my basket is a rectangle. I have 2 longer sides, 2 shorter sides. I could use my ruler and measure around the outside of my object to figure out what the perimeter is. What is the distance around the sides of my shape. So you're going to do that today. Let's take a look at our paper real quick and go over a few things. All right, so on the top of our paper here, you're going to see a square. And on that square, you're going to measure the length of these different sides just like we did. And you're going to measure them using centimeters. So you're going to use your small side, okay? Then you're going to write the distance of each of the sides in the boxes. And then tell me what the perimeter was of all the sides all together. Down here, we have our different problems. Box A, your problem is 5 plus 5. Box B, your problem is 11 minus 2. Box C, your problem is 6 plus 3. Box D, your problem is 8 minus 5. Box E, your equation is 11 plus 1. Box F, your equation is 11 minus 6. One thing you will see here on the front of our paper are our dot cards. We have 3 different dot cards. You're going to be creating addition problems with these different dot cards. You're going to count how many are in each dot and then write those as our 2 parts to equal a whole number. And then you're going to do the opposite. You're going to take those numbers and you're going to flip them and do the opposite equation, because we know when we add, it doesn't matter what order our numbers are in. You will do that with all 3 parts there. All right, boys and girls, nice job today. Keep working on that perimeter, measuring the distance around each shape. You can measure with inches, you can measure with centimeters, or you can measure with feet. Keep up the good work at home. Missing you all. See you later.